Angela is set to lose her seat in the next election here. Would you take her on as your apprentice?
Well, there's no chance we would ever do that. No, there's no chance we would ever do that. You know, she's a strange person, and she's shown a lot of interest in me, but I don't have. It's not what we call mutual interest, and I wouldn't go after that with a 10-foot pole. And I know what that looks like. You know, when you look at knobheadery, right? I have the biggest knob the world has ever seen. Everybody knows about it. It's the biggest and most beautiful golden knob the world has ever seen. So we definitely wouldn't take her on. We're not interested in that. It's nothing personal, although it's actually very personal. We just don't want to do that, right? We would not want to do that, and we're not going to do that. But we would look at it. We would look at a lot of people as the apprentice, but not Angela. We would never go there.
And I am very proud of my work history. So if you try to insinuate that what I am doing or what I have done in the past is not proper, then you need to look up proper in the dictionary, Gary. Ridiculous. Why don't you go and have a brew with June? Because the pair of you sound exactly the same. You're probably the same person, probably you, June.
Good evening, and welcome once again to The Deadliners. This is our fourth episode, and we're very excited that we seem to be attracting a lot of attention, and we're getting the show hopefully better and better and more professional every week. We hopefully have got better cameras this week and better sound. And, you know, we're just going to go, we hope, from strength to strength. It's been a busy week. England beat India in cricket. All sorts of amazing political stories, all sorts of great local stories. And to share all that, we've got another great crew with us. I mean, once again, we didn't have them last week, but President Trump is joining us again tonight. Yay! And Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner, who's been under tremendous pressure this week. She will also be with us in her guise of agony aunt, her new role, which she'll probably take over and do if she loses her political office, if Labor gets wiped out in the next election. And to discuss all these stories, first of all, here is our bald-headed young producer, James Bembridge, right next to me, deputy editor of Country Squire magazine, where they are just publishing a very interesting article about the son of Sandra Rivet, the maid that was killed by Lord Lucan many years ago. Who he claims he's located in Australia. Lord Lucan is lurking in the outback, apparently. So have a look at Country Squire when the article comes out to learn more about that. Remember, you heard it here. You heard it here. Sitting behind him with the ridiculous hat is Andy Clapp. Oh, I'm sorry, Zap. That great Cockney comic who's got some incredible stories for us and has particularly regaled us so far this evening by telling us that on the way here, he was crossing the street and although it's a 20-mile-an-hour zone, somebody almost ran him over and leaned out the window and shouted, "Get off the street, you old cunt," which is a nice thing on a pleasant spring, summer evening in London, don't you think?
I do.
And next to him, all the way from Leeds, come just to be with us tonight, is that Romany wanderer, Jay Mack, with more stories. He's just been canceled. He has said something appalling about gay people. And he's
more so even than I do.
More so even than Gay James.
Gay James.
Yeah. I don't understand, you know, why a gay deputy editor would slag off gays, but I guess he just slags off anybody. But anyway, Jay's been thrown off the stage on this comedy gig, and he's going to tell us all about that. So, James, Mr. Producer, where do we begin tonight?
We begin with Mr. J Mack, both on him being cancelled by this ghastly shrieking queer. By the way, hold on.
You can't talk like that.
I have done, I do. So
Yeah, we're straight. I'm not telling you.
Straight gay.
there's different. Okay, I've got to say that I'm a lifelong homosexual myself. There are different species of gay, and the one that cancelled Jay is one of the worst, the most gruesome. So Jay, start off with you were cancelled by this creature.
Yes.
Tell us the background first.
Yes. So I have a gig, or had a gig, a week on Saturday or Sunday in Huddersfield at a decent venue, and I was headlining, and the MC.
You were the headliner.
Yes, I was the headliner, and I had made a comment over the weekend about the cancellation of Wakefield Pride due to lack of sponsorship.
Now, tell us what Wakefield Pride is. That seems like a bit of an oxymoron,
It is somewhat.
geographically speaking, demographically speaking.
Can I just comment? Wakefield Pride, that sort of lacks charisma, doesn't it?
It does somewhat.
Wakefield Pride.
It's and it's amazing that we even have a publication called the West Yorkshire Evening Post, which was published online, in which I commented on, saying the world is healing.
The world is healing
World is
because
healing.
Wakefield Pride
Was cancelled.
through lack of funding.
Charisma.
Yes, essentially.
Through lack of funding.
And I was shocked because I didn't know that anyone in Yorkshire could read. So it was astounding to me. And my MC that I hadn't met on this gig in Huddersfield, that hadn't yet happened, who hadn't heard my material, decided that he wouldn't share a stage with me. And there was a mutiny.
And he's gay, presumably.
And so he claims. He hasn't fucked my ass yet. So I can't quite
Quite a few
testify.
people haven't fucked your ass yet.
Not in this room.
No.
But no, so he took offence to what I'd said, and he led a mutiny, and everyone on my bill decided to evacuate the stage, else I commit some horrible genocide.
Verbal genocide, that is.
Well, it depends, really.
Thought genocide.
I mean, you've heard my material.
But I mean, isn't this a terrible thing to say, referring to the gay community, that the world is healing because their parade was canceled?
Well,
Oh,
it's
I'll go far further than even Jay.
yeah.
I mean, you talk about James. I won't even say what my.
Well, why do you, a gay man,
Because-
put down gays?
No, it's not. No, I've said there's different species of gay. You get some gays that inhabits the worst. Sorry, none of the good things of men and all the worst qualities of women. And this is this gay that we're talking about,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Bimbo-ish.
Like gay Karen.
Gay Karens.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Busy
This is what we're talking.
Yeah.
This is what we're dealing with.
It's just
now.
that psychopathy, isn't it?
So that's I'm against those kind of gays, not all of the gays. But also, Jay, you've got another story. I think. Why should we have a black James Bond?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Well, essentially, because there's a lot of
You
speculation.
did.
in-
Sorry, when we ran through the stories, I didn't hear about that one. That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
So the next James Bond is black.
Well, possibly. There's a lot of speculation.
Great.
It's been going on for years now. Nobody's named the new actor who's going to play James Bond. There's been speculation as to whether it be a woman.
A woman? Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I remember that. And then they keep hinting at, all right, we're going to get a woke black James Bond. And there's a lot of anger about it. And people are very, because, it's a British institution. People are pissed off. But, in my opinion, I think James Bond should be black because it would explain all the shooting. You know what I mean?
You can't say that either.
A bit stereotyping, isn't it?
Yeah, for Ofcom's sakes, we're
Yeah.
pushing back at J Mac now. You
Yes,
can't say
you
that.
You can't say
You
things
can't
like
say
that.
that. Say it's not.
But yeah, essentially,
No wonder you're a traveler, because you've always had to leave town. Undoubtedly.
They can't keep up with me. But, I've already robbed all the wire out of the building.
It was like Joseph and Mary.
And all the lead off the roofs.
Yes.
It was like Joseph and Mary.
Nobody has
Just
any
keep
tires
moving.
outside.
Keep moving.
Anyway, so what interests me about it is the way that they're trying to walketize James Bond is it just goes so far against Ian Fleming's vision.
Like they've done to
James
Doctor
Bond.
Who.
Yes. But
Well, it's
Less
Doctor
sci-fi.
Day.
it's because
Doctor them they.
James Bond was meant to be a blunt instrument of the state. It was meant to be a flawed character.
Oh yeah.
It was meant to be a bit misogynistic,
Yes.
a
Yeah.
bit rapey.
Chauvinist.
Ian
Yeah,
Ian
exactly.
Fleming's character.
And the point being
Yeah.
is that he might be a borderline horrific sex offender, but he's the borderline prolific sex offender that you would want defending the country.
Should we get Hugh Edwards to play it?
We should.
I mean, that could.
He could waddle on.
So what are your thoughts?
Waddling Hugh. We could have a white Malcolm X. Then.
Oh, that'd be good.
White Malcolm
That'd
X.
be good.
Yeah, Tom Hardy could play Malcolm X. He's a good actor. He could.
Tom Hardy's brilliant. Yeah.
We could blackface.
Anybody's thoughts?
So you've been canceled, and you think the next James Bond could or should be black?
Yeah, it's a wonder why.
I think that's well, it's been muted now, isn't it? Black James Bond, but there's a few of us kind of record. No, he's British. Well, he's Scottish, isn't he?
Yes, well,
He's
it's
Scots, is he?
what James Bond.
Yeah, well, there are plenty of black Scots. Goodness sake.
Ian
The
Fleming.
black- yeah. The black. Was it the black?
And after all, Ian Fleming lived much of his life in Jamaica. So
He did.
Yes.
I wouldn't be too bothered by it personally.
Who would you have? Who would you have?
Well,
What
let's-
black person? would you have playing?
Idris Alba would be wonderful.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
so. Yes, he would. Yeah.
Idris.
It's
what
more
Idris?
about
Because he's marvelous.
it's just don't undress James Bond to the
Yeah.
point at which
He's perfect.
yes,
Idris
don't
Alba's
make him
perfect.
make him a flawed character.
Yes,
He's-
exactly.
he's
Oh no,
meant to be-
that's the thing. If it were to be a black actor, we don't want to make him an unflawed one. We want all
Yes.
the flaws that.
Yeah,
Fleming
Idris
can
Alba's
get.
is hard to show as flawed, but I'm sure he could find some way to portray that. But the
Flawed.
thing about him is
Well, the
He
flaw
always-
would be-
he always has this smile. And there's always this kind of wry smile
Yes.
about him.
Yeah.
Yes,
And he'd bring he'd bring exactly the right feeling to the role.
Yes.
I vote for Idris.
yeah, I'd love to see Idris Elba as James Bond.
Yeah.
Well, the flaw
It'd be
would
fucking
be.
fabulous, wouldn't it? It'd be,
What would the flaw be,
The
Andy?
flaw would be that he's shagging white women.
Oh,
Let's
Jesus.
get Lenny Henry. Let's get Lenny Henry.
Hello, conductor, put these two assholes off the train, will you please?
I was staying at the home of one of her constituents.
This is Deputy Prime Minister
Right.
Angela Rayner,
Yes.
who now you interviewed today in her new guise, her new role as an agony aunt. Yeah.
Exactly so. So I was staying in one of her constituents' homes in the kitchen, and I said, "Well, Angela, you can see the effect that all these taxes have had, and they can't afford the heating, blah blah blah." And she thought it just looked really wholesome. She was very angry again for having letters from June Slater and Gary McGee.
Those two don't stop, do they?
They don't. Well, she thinks they're the same. She thinks Gary McGee is a pseudonym of June Slater, so she wants the IP addresses. And she was very happy to get another letter from her great admirer Derek Ward,
Oh, yes.
who's invited her to Blackpool Tower, and
I saw that letter. He seems to think it's the Eiffel Tower.
well, he was to begin with. He said, "Can I take you to the Eiffel Tower? I'll wine and dine you." And then he says, "Blackpool's lovely this time of year." So of course she was crestfallen when she realised it was Blackpool.
Yeah.
And then I think he ended it. P.S. I'd love to have your lips wrapped around a bit of Blackpool rock. So she was very flattered by that. So yeah, let's play that now.
Hello, Angela Rayner, our resident agony aunt.
Viewers might wonder where I am, these surroundings. Well, it's actually, I'm doing it in a set of one of your constituents' houses, Angela.
I recognise. I think I've been there before. Actually, funnily enough, I think I have been there before, and yeah, I recognise it. Making me feel at home. Sorry, I've just got to say, you are making me feel right at home where you are, and it's wonderful. So thank you for doing that.
Well,
Very thoughtful.
yeah, exactly. I did it just to make you feel at home, to do it from somewhere that looks really crap. So we've got a letter from one of your favourites, Angela, June Slater.
Ugh. You have to start with that. I spoke first the worst, second the best. We'll go with it. Go on.
You'll like the last one. So from June Slater, Dear Ange, I've emailed you multiple times. You'd be doing me a solid favour if you could find out where David Lammy got those £7,000 worth of biscuits from he used in one day. How many biscuits were there in total, and how many did he eat? I want to do an expose, as I think he sneaked a lot to Emily Thornberry. Has this been declared on expenses? Ordinary fat people have to pay for their own treats. Why should they get them for free?
Right. Well, I mean, I've heard a lot of rumours about June and exposing things, mostly herself. And, I have to say, June, I don't know why you're obsessing with the little things, because we're focusing on the bigger things. But I will say this, and let me be clear, June. Our Diane is going to be doing the numbers on the biscuits, and I trust her judgment. So whatever she comes up with, we'll let you know. But really, it's hardly important. Why don't you focus on your own issues instead of worrying about what we're doing? Move on.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's too much of a busybody, our June, isn't she?
She is, yeah.
This is
This
is from another one of your favourites, Gary McGee. Dear Ange, given that you are likely to lose your seat to Reform at the next election,
No.
polling has shown this, what proper job would you do afterwards?
Are you having a laugh, Gary? A proper job. This is a proper job. I've been doing loads. I've been doing the houses, building houses. That's a proper job. Sorting my employment rights bill out. That's a proper job. I've had loads of side missions while I've been doing this position. All of those are legitimate jobs. But, you talk about things in a very snobby way, Gary. And I think it's very, very disappointing. You're letting yourself down. I think there's a lot of snobbery with you because, as you know, I come from very humble beginnings. And I have done I'm a union girl. I have done a lot of proper jobs over the years. And there is no job that is too big or too small for me. And I am very proud of my work history. So if you try to insinuate that what I am doing or what I have done in the past is not proper, then you need to look up proper in the dictionary, Gary. Ridiculous. Why don't you go and have a brew with June? Because the pair of you sound exactly the same. You're probably the same person. Probably you, June. Gary.
I think they're definitely colluding, and I don't like that sneeriness from Gary. So this is a letter from a new viewer called Dawn Fuller. Dear Ange, as you is up for it on the front bench, and our borders are open more than Bonnie Blue's legs, I wonder if you could help me open up dialogue with social services. I'm recently disabled and need a mobility scooter. At 5'1" and 21 stone, I'm struggling to get about. Apparently, it's an underactive pizza gland.
I'm going to try and be very diplomatic with Dawn. First of all, Bonnie Blue is an entrepreneur and an athlete, and she does a very good job. And people should look up to people like that because they work very, very hard.
I believe that your son is in the same industry as Bonnie.
I will stick up for people who do that sort of thing because they put the work in and they pay the taxes. She'll be in a higher rate taxpayer, so that she's contributing to the communities, and that's a very, very positive thing. So I don't want to hear any bad things said about Bonnie Blue. She helped me out with a project actually to fill all the potholes in the UK that the Tories just left for 14 years, and she was well up for it. We did a very special event. We invited 1,000 Labour voters, and I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't quite know the ins and outs of what happened, but she teamed up with the other one that does similar, and they put on this fantastic event. So I don't want to hear anyone slagging off people like our Bonnie, because she does lovely work. Apparently, I've not seen it, but I know she works very, very hard. Now, as for you eating pizzas or whatever, well, you know, we've got a special injection that can help you with that if you need to lose a bit of weight. And I'm not being fat phobic at all, Dawn. I think, you know, you're probably very beautiful to look at. And that's absolutely wonderful. But maybe you could put less of a strain on the NHS if you made healthier choices. I have to say, though, I do feel as though I'm being tested with this question. So again, if this is June asking ridiculous questions under a different name, then you can do one.
Yeah, I'll have to check the IP addresses in future, shan't I?
You should. Yeah.
Now, the last one you will like, it's from your great admirer, Derek Ward.
Hiya, Derek.
Dear Anne, you call him Degs, I think, don't you?
Yeah, Degs.
Dear Ange, I'd love to take you to the Eiffel Tower to wine and dine you. Nothing but the best for my Ange.
Thanks.
Blackpool is lovely this time of year.
Yeah.
After visiting the tower, we can go to the Blackpool Lawnmower Museum and then for a donkey ride on the beach. P.S. I'd like to get your lips around some Blackpool rock. Always yours, Derek.
Degs, you are bringing back a lot of very happy memories for me. Growing up, that was our holiday destination, was Blackpool. I love the illuminations. And, you know, I've been to a few end parties in Blackpool as well. So there's nothing but happy memories. I might consider it if you throw in dinner at Spoons. Up to you, Degs. It's your choice, but that would be quite nice. So yeah, of course, yeah.
I'll put that to Degs.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Angela. You make a wonderful agony aunt. What are you doing this week, Ange?
Might go to Ibiza for a bit, do a bit of raving.
Oh, again, yes, yeah, well deserved. Yeah.
I'm entitled to an holiday, so I don't want to hear from June saying, "Oh, why are you going on holiday? You're going on." I'm allowed, June. So before you write your little letters, you know, it is all above board and it will be declared. And if I go in a DJ booth, right, I will pay for that myself. It won't be on the taxpayer, so you don't need to worry about it, June. I don't want to hear about it. Don't want your little Facebook posts or anything else about anything that I'm doing. So mind your own business. Anyway, no, I'm going to have a lovely time. I mean, are you going anywhere nice?
Oh, I don't have time to, Ange. I actually have one last question, though. Would you ever go for a pint or something perhaps even more with Mr. Farage?
Well, I've had a few ciggy breaks with him outside in the designated areas outside the Parliament. Well, I mean, you know, I haven't chosen to. He's just been there when I've been there, and I've said, "Hiya," you know. You can't ignore these people. They will talk. If they talk to me, I'm going to have to speak to them whether I want to or not. We've made a bit of small talk. I asked him if he had been to Clacton recently, and I asked him if he wanted a map and a compass to find his way there, and he thought that was funny. But yeah, of course. Look, if someone's buying, I'm drinking, so that's absolutely fine. You can't ignore people in parts. It's not how it works. So, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. All right. Well, Ange, thank you so much for your help with all the letters again, and we hope to speak to you next week or soon.
All right. Nice one. See you later.
Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. She's wonderful, our Ange, and you know, everybody's in love with her here. And one guest we had last week said he'd really love to go out with her, like to go on a date with her. And speaking of dating, I believe that Jay has got a story for us, a part of his routine, part of his act, actually, he's going to do for us about a date. And then James suggested that Andy should follow, and I said no, we should save his shtick for later, and of course they all yelled at me, Andy the fillator. So there we go. What am I going to tell you? It's just doesn't stop. So Jay, tell us about this dating experience.
Yes, it's. I went out with it, and because he always reminds me of it when I come to London, you know. And I went out with a woman from London once, and you know, and she was beautiful. I mean, absolutely breathtaking, you know, like emphysema. You know, she was absolutely stunning, but she was riddled with phobias. She had a horrible phobia of numbers. It's called arithmophobia. She was stunning though. Do you know what I mean? She was 10 out of 10, but couldn't fucking tell it. You know what I mean? Because it's a phobia. And yeah, it's so nice to be back here. I took this girl out, took her some authentic English street food. I had a steak bake. She had a sausage roll. And she starts telling me her pronouns. I said, look, I'll stop you right there. I'm not into this make-believe shit. You know, like Santa Claus or Belgium, you know. But I stuck with it, right? Because she was a proper cockney. None of the time.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long to get lucky. No. Because get this, within an hour of meeting her, she'd been tasered by police. She couldn't be here tonight because she's been sectioned. You know, you can take the woman out of London, but you can't take her out of a secure mental health facility.
Not easily, anyway.
Well, that's beautiful. Again, who says romance is dead? I think that's a really heartwarming story.
It's a lovely story. And do you hope to see her again when she gets out?
No.
No.
He hopes to be in there with her.
Well, at this rate.
Yes.
Well, something else we should mention. We had set up this show with some really great comics, as you know, we've seen them. And the plan was to keep the same cast, the same crew every week. But we've had so many comedians call us up and ask to be on the show. And either they are going to come on in the studio here or on Zoom with us. And so we decided to open it up. So anybody watching who is a comic, anybody who's a good comedian, and you'd like to join us, please, let us know. Get in touch. Just email us at deadliners5858, deadliners58, all lowercase, at gmail.com. Just email us and we will, definitely try to get you on the show. And we'll have some core people, but we will also have a rotating bevy of other great comics. Well, welcome again, Mr. President. It's really great. It's just wonderful, given how busy and you're the most important man in the world. It's just fantastic to have you with us most weeks, so many weeks. We really appreciate it. I can't tell you. Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister of the UK, with whom you've interacted in most of our programs so far, is unfortunately not with us tonight. She's engaged up north in some political things. Her political party, the Labour Party, has just thrown out 4 members of Parliament a little while ago for what was described by party members as knobheadery, which in America would be dickheadery, which is an interesting political term. So I want to ask you, because they're not doing very well, I'd like to start off by asking you that if, as the polls are showing, Angela is set to lose her seat in the next election here, would you take her on as your apprentice?
Well, there's no chance we would ever do that. No, there's no chance we would ever do that. She's a strange person, and she's shown a lot of interest in me, but I don't have. It's not what we call mutual interest. And I wouldn't go after that with a 10-foot ball. And I know what that looks like. You know, when you look at knob headery, right? I have the biggest knob the world has ever seen. Everybody knows about it. It's the biggest and most beautiful golden knob the world has ever seen. So we definitely wouldn't take her on. We're not interested in that. It's nothing personal, although it's actually very personal. We just don't want to do that, right? We would not want to do that, and we're not going to do that. But we would look at it. We would look at a lot of people as The Apprentice, but not Angela. We would never go there.
Got it. Thank you so much. Let me ask you another question. If you were to turn Gaza into a resort, as you mentioned, and as was depicted in an AI recent video shared by you, would you put a gay bar there?
Well, you look at Gaza now, and they're not a very big, they're not very big fans of the gay people, right? You look at Pete Buttigieg, people like that. They have what's called skydiving without a parachute in Gaza right now. They throw you off a rooftop, and you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to say that either. But they have what's called skydiving without the parachute. But if we had if we put a gay bar, and we would think about it, because the gay people love me. You know, I'm a very attractive person. So you have a lot of men who think, you know, look at the Village People, YMCA. They used to not like me. Then they saw me. They said, oh, we love this guy. But we could possibly put the gay bar there, and the mascot would be Emmanuel Macron, right? I think there's no gayer of a person than Emmanuel Macron. You know, I shook his hand and I broke it. Typical French guy. You know, I go to France, they're already surrendering. I said, we're not at war, guys. We're not doing that. But, you know, I would put him there, maybe Justin Trudeau. I like to call him Queen Justine. A lot of people. And Boot Edge would be the mascots of that gay bar. We'll look at it. We could look at it. But that's what we might do.
It's good to know you might open one. You know, it's been quite a while now, old Joe Biden. Tell us your thoughts about him and how he's doing. And hey, would you let him, for example, babysit your grandchildren?
Well, I wouldn't let him babysit my grandkids. You know, you look at Kai, you look at these people, beautiful grandchildren. And, you know, he didn't do too well with his daughter. Apparently, he took a shower with her, according to the diary. And you're not supposed to do that. But he did it. And I hate to know what happened. And we're not going to go there. But I don't know how he's doing. You know, when he was president, he didn't do very well. Somebody asked the question, did he faithfully execute the duties as president? I said he made a lot of duties, but not the ones you're thinking about, right? Especially in front of the Pope, right? Especially in front of the Pope. We called that one Operation Tootsie Roll. You know, he left a few droppings at the Vatican, and you're not supposed to do that either. It was the only time the Pope said, holy sugar, honey, iced tea, right? You're not supposed to. His Holiness usually doesn't use foul language, but he used foul language. So I wouldn't let him babysit my grandchildren. I wouldn't let him near anything, to be honest with you. You know, it's a wonder he's even allowed near Jill, who puts up with a lot and changes a lot of diapers, I can tell you that. But, you know, I hope he's doing okay, but I wouldn't let him near my grandchildren.
No, very good. And you mentioned Macron. Do you have plans to visit the French dwarf and his He-Man wife? You know, and what to actually eat when you go to Paris?
Well,
McDonald's?
we have McDonald's. They call it Les Big Mac, right, in French. They have the French fries, which we renamed in the United States of America Freedom Fries, or MAGA fries now. We call them MAGA fries because they're beautiful. I'm the greatest McDonald's employee in the history of the world. You know, I worked there. Kamala didn't work there. I went from fry cook to president. It's a real American dream story, right? Fry cook to president. Drive-through window to the big, beautiful windows in the Oval Office. Really was a tremendous thing.
Anyone can do it.
If I can do it, well, if I can, I do a lot of things that a lot of people, you know, wouldn't be able to do. I got shot and lived. I did a lot of things. But you look at this beautiful journey. Fry cook to president. When we go to France, I eat McDonald's. When I go to any country, I eat McDonald's. Whether it's Russia, whether it's the beautiful United Kingdom, it's a wonderful kingdom. Whether it's any country I go to, it's McDonald's. If there's no McDonald's, we won't go there. That's the rule. Even when I went to North Korea and I met with Little Rocket Man, he's a tiny guy. He's a little rocket man. And if you look at him, he's got little rockets and a very small rocket. You know what I'm talking about? And I have the biggest rocket the world has ever seen. And nobody wants to get into that type of contest with me. We talked about the knob. It's a beautiful knob. But when I go to France, I eat McDonald's. These people are very stupid. They eat snails. I don't understand what the hell their problem. They should eat more McDonald's and less snails. And who knows? Canada could be our 51st state. Maybe France will be our 52nd state. We'll see what happens.
There's an idea. Wow, that's something. 52nd state. Speaking of the UK, as you mentioned it, I don't know if you've heard the news that only a very short while ago, the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who you know fairly well, has just fired 4 members of Parliament. And some of the people in his party have said the reason why is knobheadery. That's where the knobheadery comes from. And he's called himself a hard bastard. Is he really? What do you think of that?
Well, if this is what he looks like when he's a hard bastard, I'd hate to see him when he's a soft bastard. Let's just put it that way, right? That's all I'll say, right? It's not very impressive, I can tell you that. But, I get along very well with Keir. I happen to be a very hard bastard, too. The hardest bastard the world has ever seen. And nobody wants to mess around. But, he's firing people. I love to fire people. I made a lot of money for fake news NBC when I used the term "you're fired," right? And we're looking at it. But he wants to say he's a hard bastard. He's definitely a bastard. Hard, I don't know about, but he's definitely a bastard. But I get along very well with Keir, and we're working on some beautiful deals together. And maybe if he wants to be a hard bastard, maybe our friend Angela could be interested. We'll see what happens.
Well, she's certainly interested in anything concerning you, Mr. President. As you know, she keeps making, it seems, overtures towards you.
Well, we're calling it access denied, right? We're calling it access denied. Not going to happen. She could make as many overtures as she wants, but it's not going to happen.
Would you sing YMCA for us?
No, we don't do that. We don't sing the YMCA. That's for the village people, and they're beautiful people. We dance to the YMCA. We have our own dance, but we don't sing the YMCA. Those are beautiful people. And they would get very mad at me if I did that. And then I may have to be the mascot at the gay bar. So we're not going to do that. But we will let them do that for you. They're beautiful people. One of them dresses up like Elizabeth Warren. He looks like Pocahontas, right? And she's a fake Indian. But he dresses up. These are very talented people. They're the best people to sing that song. I can't do it. They won't let me do it. But if they wanted to do it, I would absolutely join them for it.
Wonderful. So, is there any parting message you'd like to give our viewers?
Well, I just want to say that we are, the United States, of course, is the greatest and most highly respected country in the world. We are enforcing what's called the F around and find out doctrine. You can ask the Ayatollah and all of his goats that he had herded up in the cave. Not very good things happened to that guy and to that country. So it's the F around and find out doctrine. The United States is the top of the top. We're the greatest, we're the best. And you want to be on my good side, not on my bad side. That much I can tell you.
Mr. President, once again, thank you very much. It's been awe-inspiring, and you've made everybody here and all of our viewers very happy. We look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, and God bless.
God bless.
What happened to me? I got piston stoned, and then I woke up in Reading police station on a Saturday afternoon. I'd been drunk all night, and I woke up in the police station. And what happened was this lovely policeman came in, and he brought me a BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomato, and a nice cup of cocoa. And I thought, this is really civilized. The following day, I've fallen back asleep, and then I woke up again, and there I am in the police station, Reading police station. And another policeman come in, lovely looking chap like James here, nice looking boy. He bought me bacon, eggs, sausage, baked beans, and a fried
Wow.
slice and a cup of tea. And I'm thinking, this is great. You know, I'm sobering up very slowly. All through the day, lunchtime, another BLT. In the evening, a cheese roll and a cup of cocoa. Monday morning, same thing. Nice young copper comes in, good looking lad he was. And he's brought me eggs, bacon, beans, and fried bread and a nice cup of tea. And I thought, this is really nice. 2 hours later, he takes me in his nice police car, takes me to the court, Reading Court. And they take me to the court. And I'm thinking, this is really nice. And I look around in the court, it's all this lovely wood paneling. And I get taken up to the court, and the magistrate says, Mr. Zack, you have been accused of being drunk and disorderly in a public place. You have been found guilty, £50 fine. I thought to myself, well, this is cheaper than the Holiday Inn. I'm going to do this again. That was it, really. I thought it was just great. Yeah, I got treated really well by the constabulary. So, yeah, that's the story, really. That was it.
But wait, so you were in
Reading police station in the old days when
Yeah.
they have canteens.
yeah, so what, jail, not proper prison then?
Well, it's got bars.
They
and
got
you
cell,
can't-
they got proper cells. They look like jail
No,
cells.
they got
No,
what's playing. What's
You've
the
never
proper
been in
prison?
jail.
I didn't get bummed. You mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't
Like,
get raped.
yeah, that's not proper prison.
Uh,
Yeah, no, that's not proper
That's the
prison.
hospitality. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
I remember when many years ago, I first came to England. I came here from France and
1066. I was there with William the Conqueror.
That's it. I came with Bill. And yeah, no, I mean, I remember I was staying in a bedsit, a B&B by what was then the very famous West London Air Terminal, which for many years now has been the huge Sainsbury's in Cromwell Road. And it was an amazing place, the West London Air Terminal, and it was surrounded by thousands of B&Bs and bedsits and
that's where you got bumped.
no, and all kinds of sort of cheap tourist accommodation for miles around the West London Air Terminal. Quite something. And I think I'd been to London once or twice before, but I was a young fella and I was here and having a great time. And I rented a room in this crappy little B&B. And I went out for the evening and I got back and there was a fellow on the front desk and I asked for my key and he refused to give it to me. And he explained that, someone else was now in my room and he pointed me towards all of my belongings, which had been, I don't know how they did it, rolled up into a giant ball and tied about 5 different ways with string sitting in the corner. And I said, what the hell's going on? And he said, well, the fellow was willing to pay more than you, and he gave book for 5 nights. So
Because he Welsh.
well, she gave Welsh. I said, so you gave my room in the middle of the night to somebody because he paid more than me and booked for 5 nights? And he, yeah, I said, that's how it is. And I said, well, you little fucker, how dare you do that? That must be against the law. And he said, well, go report me. So
He said, deport me.
yeah, a little while later, I found myself out on the street carrying this giant ball over my back. It's about 4 a.m, and I'm walking around all over sort of West Kensington, wondering what the hell am I going to do? And I'm wandering and wandering. I'm waiting for the sun starting to go. I'm wondering what the hell, where am I going to find to stay? Isn't this ridiculous?
What the Israelis felt like when they left
And
Egypt.
yeah, and when they left Egypt, yeah, and I really didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, I see a blue sign, a NIC, a police station. And I walk into it, and there's a
Into the
couple of
sign.
friendly coppers. I said, good morning, I am an American lawyer, and I'm visiting London. And I'd been a lawyer for about 20 minutes, you know. I had just graduated. I'd been a lawyer about 20 minutes. And the cop said to me, oh, I guess you've come for James Earl Ray. And I had no idea what he was talking about, but he then explained that James Earl Ray, the man who murdered Martin Luther King, had fled America after he murdered him and was found in England and had been arrested by the British police and was being held in a nick in London, awaiting extradition to Tennessee or wherever they were sending him. And this copper was very funny. I said, I'm an American lawyer. He said, oh, you must be here you must have come to collect Martin Luther King's killer. And he explained the story, and I laughed, and I said, that's very clever. That's very funny. And then his mate behind the desk looked at me and said, fag? And I said, how dare you? I mean, I had no idea what these guys were talking about.
It's in cigarette.
Yeah.
He didn't know a fag was a snout.
Yeah. So he gave me a fag and a cup of coffee and a roll, and they were very nice, and I was so impressed. But then I went out on the street, left the nick, started walking again. And a guy comes up to me and he says, you look like you're lost. And I didn't recognize it as such, but he had a Australian accent. He was an Aussie. And I explained to him everything that had happened. And he took out a £5 note, which would be like 50 quid today, I suppose. And he said, here, this will.
What year was this?
1873.
Not 1060.
He said, this will see you for a while. And I said, thank you. I said, give me your address. He said, no. Just do the same thing for somebody else one day. And I thought, my God, what an evening's experience. What nice people to have met. So your story reminded me of that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I love how I can't do a joke about black people shooting, but you could do an Indian accent.
What Indian accent? What am I doing?
We're not allowed to do that.
No.
That's
To
cultural
do-
appropriation.
Do what cultural appropriation? What are you
What
talking
are you
about?
doing?
What are you
You're
talking
doing the Polish accent. You must do
Polish.
Polish.
Right. My story is, I was living in a nondescript European country with a facial surgeon who was once praised, revered. Then he went mad. Then his guiding maxim became that symmetry is overrated. And I was working with him in his surgery. I would get the occasional commission if I could actually fool anyone to have surgery with him. We had no need for a patient buzzer in the patient rooms in the hospital because we knew when they were awake due to the long, prolonged anguished screams when they looked at themselves in the mirror, what he'd done to them. I was once having dinner with the professor, and I said, well, so what's the strangest surgery you've done? And he said, well, this one woman, she wanted her mouth to be made wider. And by wider, he didn't mean like lips plumped. He meant like Heath Ledger's Joker's slits, like, and then inverted to fashion new lips. Now, our lips close because they are muscles. So the ones outside the actual muscles that she was born with, they wouldn't close. And so he said, well, when she was tiny, there'd be some seepage. And I said, well, that sounds horrific, Professor. And he said, before the surgery, she was a nobody. After the surgery, she was a centre point of conversation. Well, yes, for all the wrong reasons. And then
She couldn't say much, but
and then I think I'm missing a lot of stories out of my time there with him. But then my last day there in that country, the professor had just come out of surgery, and I said to him, "I'm going home to England now, Professor." And he just stared vacantly into the distance and said, I don't think I'll ever understand human face. So obviously it didn't go very well. Oh, so that was my time with the professor. It was like living literally with Dr.
That
Frankenstein.
was fabulous.
This
It was-
this explains a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it does.
doesn't it, guys?
Oh,
James,
it's-
it's trauma.
just imagine.
Yeah. I will never understand
The human symmetry is overrated. Oh, that's
Yeah.
another thing I needed to add actually. When he became progressively more mad, the artist Picasso became his chief influence.
Really,
Inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration. Yeah.
really like Picasso.
Yes.
I like Picasso's paintings. I wouldn't like to look like one of his paintings, but yeah.
I'd like to own one
No.
though.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be out with women who were his patients.
Well, dear viewers, I think our team are really starting to lose it now. So maybe it's time for us to say adieu
Good night.
and good night, and see you next week. And thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've loved having you. And if you want to be part of our studio audience, please let us know. Just email us, and with any suggestions you have on either go to our YouTube channel at Deadliners58, or email us on deadliners58@gmail.com. And we will see you all again next week.